Everybody get their phones turned off?
Yes, please.
Gina, you ready?
Yep.
Mayor, like to call the meeting order with the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor, roll if you would, please.
Carter,
Here.
Mazer, here. Riley,
Here.
Schneider,
Here.
Sofa,
Here.
Stoops,
Here.
Wilson.
Here. All right, non-agenda items from the sidelines. Mr. Lamberson?
Just two things real quick. First of all, the last meeting we were talking about, this is both marijuana related, we were talking about the secure transporter, and a comment was made about, you know, the transporter just going and picking up, delivering, come back to the garage. I looked it up in the Michigan marijuana law, and they are allowed to store for 48 hours. So they could go pick it up, bring it back here in the city for 48 hours, and then deliver that. So wanted that to be known. And then also, week before last, I spent a week in Colorado, and of course had to look into the impact of marijuana since it was legalized out there. So they had a real nice report called the legalization of marijuana in Colorado, the impact, the Rocky Mountain High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area, and it's comprised of several states: Colorado, Montana, Utah, and Wyoming. I just want to go over a couple bullet points here because a lot of talk always seems to go on how great this turned out for Colorado. This is the real deal. Since recreational marijuana was legalized in 2013, traffic deaths, which drivers tested positive for marijuana, increased 135%. All Colorado traffic deaths increased 24%. Since recreational marijuana was legalized, traffic deaths involving drivers who tested positive for marijuana more than doubled. Since it was legalized, the percentage of all Colorado traffic deaths that were marijuana related increased from 15 to 25%. Marijuana use, ages 12 and older, increased, this is 12 and older, increased 30%, is 76% higher than the national average, currently ranking third in the nation, 12-year-olds. 18-year-old and older increased 19%, 73% higher. And then the thing, societal impact, marijuana tax revenue currently makes up 0.85% of the entire fiscal budget for Colorado. So not really worth talking about. But the one that really got me was, I won't scroll down to it, it's 50 pages in, it's an 80-page report. The increase of violent crime, the increase in the other property crimes is all listed in this report. And again, I'll tell you what it is in case you want to do a little reading on it. It's called The Legalization of Marijuana in Colorado, The Impact, Volume 7, dated September 2020, from the Rocky Mountain High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area. So I just want everybody here to know that. These are the facts over the last 8 years from somebody that knows. Thank you.
Who posted that?
This is the High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area, HIDTA.
Yeah. Who did it?
It's, from what I read in here, it's a number of like police organizations that's based in Santa Fe. It's legit. I'll share the information to you.
I didn't say it was. I'm just asking you who put it together.
Yeah.
So there's not like a consortium or nobody's names.
Without looking, I'll look through it and I can share it with you guys.
I'll find it.
No problem.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you. Mr. Blazek?
Yeah, thank you. Everybody, hey, I want to thank the council too for striking down the marijuana grows and other indoors, outdoors. Appreciate that. I think it was the right thing from everybody, and we all appreciate that. So thank you guys for striking that part of the marijuana down and not allowing it in our town. So thank you for that. I guess I got a few questions. Are there going to be any other marijuana licenses for any other businesses offered from Memphis? Or are we striking everything out?
At the
present time, no.
At the present time. So the present time, it's strictly, and that's where, is that the way our ordinance is written, or is that up to?
The ordinance is gonna be revised, and we haven't have it yet, but I think in the revision, we'll probably not allow anything of it, other than the detail of it.
We're still working on, you guys still working on the ordinance with them?
The lawyer's writing it up now, we haven't got it back yet.
On the rewrite of the ordinance that you guys are working on, is we leaving in the right that the council or the city council had to revoke the licenses that you do, let's say like the dispensary? You said if at any time in the future in your current ordinance, it says you're able to.
I think that, Terry, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if there's any violation, that can be revoked. Any violation of state law and so on can be revoked. Is that correct?
I think it's more than just that. I think currently it's more than that. Is that language being modified that you currently have in there? I think it's that you have the right to revoke it for, I have it with me, I can read it. But I don't know if you're gonna modify it.
There is a paragraph in there that I think I know what you're referring to. I don't have it in front of me now, but there is a paragraph up there.
I thought the city, if I'm not mistaken, had the right to reserve they reserve the right to discontinue, like, or not renew the dispensary license.
Yeah, I want to reread that, and I think if you can find it, you can read it. I think it's in, I'm not sure what ordinance, whether it's in the zoning ordinance or whether it's in the business section of the ordinance. But there's two ordinances reference.
I don't think it'd be in the zoning.
Be the zoning.
I don't think it would be in the zoning.
You don't think it'd be? In the
I think
zoning?
it's in 209.
I think it's in the
Currently.
in the other one. Yeah. It seems to me it was at the top of the page, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was in here. I mean, the way I read it, and I got a few more questions, so I didn't want to spend too much time on this one. But the way I understood it was the city council reserves the right to revoke or not reissue his license because it's reapplied every year, correct? For his license.
I think they have to.
Not apply, no.
Yeah.
Just has to be renewed.
Yeah.
Oh, renew, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So they got to renew, and that's with the state or just the city?
City.
Just the city.
But they have to get it from the state before they can get it from the city anyway.
And the city, because in there, the way I understood it, so this,
You have a business license, I would imagine, local business license, right?
you would need a local business license for what?
Every business has.
Every business has to have a,
And when you're township in this town, you have to have a license?
Yeah.
$15 a year.
Okay. So you have no plans right now to modifying that clause or
Well,
allowing the city to?
Yeah, I think that clause kind of states that to some degree, but I'd have to reread it again. I'm not.
Without making this meeting too long, maybe we could flush it out later or something like that. That's an important part too.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay.
But definitely, if they're in violation of anything, yes. we
You got a minute left.
Okay. When you guys approved the dispensary, was there was two applicants. There was more than multiple applicants, right?
There's two applicants.
Right. And then there was a selection process why you guys chose the applicant that you did?
Yeah, there was a special committee appointed at it. I think it consisted of the advisory committee of the mayor, the police chief, and the head of the planning commission.
And the clerk.
And the city clerk. They're the ones that made the final decision.
I know one of the big things you guys are looking for approving your companies ever coming in there were making charitable donations to the city and non-profits.
That was never brought up.
That was brought up for
Never
dispensaries?
brought up.
For either one?
You can't get it back.
Okay.
They brought it up when they applied. They brought it up that they would do it.
It was in the application
It was
of
in the application.
Joyology, the other company.
Okay. All right. And then And you guys had any criteria to evaluate these applicants and why you picked you? There was a.
Do what?
You guys had a criteria you guys used to evaluate both applicants.
They already had to have applications in with the state.
Yeah, right. But then they
So
submit
they
to
had-
you guys, right? I mean, you had 2 applicants to submit the applications, and then you guys made a selection.
Okay, Mark, can you wrap it up?
Pardon me?
Can you wrap it up? You know, we don't want to turn this into a one question and answer session.
Right, I understand.
You have the applications, right?
I did have the applications. Yeah, and then I was just, what's not in there or in the FOIA, there was 2 applicants that submitted. And then you guys made a selection on the 16th of December.
Right.
You know, which is within the 45 days or 60 days of the passage of your ordinance. And then there was going to be a process to select which one of the applicants. And there's a 21 days after that for their submittal for reinforcement documentation.
Okay.
And then you guys should make a choice on the applicants. And I just want to know if that happened and you know, that all happened and you guys.
We followed the guidelines on what we had for our application process, yes.
Okay.
And actually, it says right in our ordinance that the selection committee will make their decision based on what they think is best for the city. That's what it says.
Each individual member of that committee will make their decision.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm out of time. So.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, city administration. Bart? What do you got?
I guess the water tower would be the
It's
best
on,
way
it's
to
on the
end this all.
agenda. Yeah.
That's part of the agenda.
Yeah.
And we don't have anybody else here, so can I get a motion to adopt or amend the agenda?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Support.
Mazer,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Stoop,
Yes.
Stonehouse,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Martyr.
Yes. All right, approval of the regular meeting minutes of August 3rd, 2021. If everybody got a chance to look over at them, if you want to have any changes, I'll look for a motion to approve them.
So moved.
Support.
Riley,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Stonehouse,
Yes.
Stoop, Wilson,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Mazer.
Yes.
All right, up next, presentation and approval of the August disbursements report for $230,415.11 in electronic wire transfers for $9,685.80. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the August disbursements report in the amount of $230,450.80 and electronic wire transfers of $9,685.80.
80.
Schneider,
Yes.
Stonehouse,
Yes.
Stoop,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Riley.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I know you. I say you're right, left, right. It's okay.
Communications, I don't have anything. Chamber of Commerce, we have nobody here tonight for that. So up next, we have volunteer recognition. Ellie, on behalf of the city, I'd like to give you a certificate for taking care, or help taking care of keeping our park beautiful. Thank you so much for your service. Appreciate it so much. And I have another one for the same, for taking care of our park here in town, for Rosalie Rowe, who unfortunately is not with us here tonight, but can we hand for Rosalie? Unfinished business, I have none. New business. Yeah, water tower painting bids. Larry, Bart,
Yeah, well, I can start off and if Mark wants, okay.
You have it all in front of you.
All right, we opened the bids on Tuesday, August the 31st, 2 p.m. and attendance was 2,000 from Mad Tech and L Tech. and Bart and myself. And we were somewhat surprised that the bids were much higher than the estimated original cost of this for diesel. The lowest bid was 101.2. The highest was 221,450, and we had another one 117,250. So there's a document there from NATEC that states that we think they're recommending that we put this out for bid in the well, I think they said November, December for the spring, and Bart and I concur with that. I think the additional cost would be about $200. Keith Nelson had conversations with some of the people that are bidding on this and other ones that do this type of business, and it's their opinion that it's late in the year and they're so busy, that's why the bids come in so much higher. And he's kind of quite confident in the bid in November, December.
Well, I can imagine that the cost of heating the tower and all that stuff's gonna be part of it, you know, once you start shutting everything down and you've got to get it out.
And that certainly is, it always is in the fall time, you just.
He told me that temperature-wise, they used to not be over 45, so now they can go down to 35 degrees on that. But they're, I think they're all aware that the tower will be shut down for about, could be shut down
30
for
to
about
45 days.
Yeah, so we'll have direct from the pumps to the
30 to
We'll be
45
running off the
days.
VFDs.
As you say, you're gonna give your VFDs a chance to work out, aren't you?
We're going to give that a try.
You're not gonna get much sleep if your dog's calling you, are you?
One thought on that though, Bart, is,
Yeah.
you're talking about doing it in the spring. Now that's when your major draw on your water is, right?
Actually,
People filling their
your
pools and
spring and
stuff.
fall is your lower points.
Oh.
You get into the summer months and now you're.
So it's like after Memorial Day.
We definitely will run it.
Yeah.
Run it,
Yeah, he
June,
said
July.
they,
I just remember you telling me last year, like you pretty much knew everybody was filling up their pools at the same time.
Oh, yeah, I get an idea about when, yeah.
So I don't think we have to take any action, we'll just for your information, I'll be able to, and we'll go, they'll get quotes in the fall, or late winter, let's say, or spring.
Late winter, it could be as late as January.
So, okay.
Okay?
All right, next up, the Memphis Lions Club is requesting council to approve to hold our annual mint sales at the corner of Main Street and Morgan on the following dates: Friday, September 17th, 2021, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, September 18th, 2021, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Could I get a motion to let the Lions sell their mints?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Stoops?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Martyr?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Sofa?
Yes.
Myself, I really don't have anything to add on. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Eric?
Slow down, kids are back in school, especially on Boardman. That's all I have.
Larry?
You've got a memo from me, and Bart and I discussed it a little bit, and it's just on Bell River Road North reconstruction. And I give you some estimated, the footage that we have. It was 0.68 miles, which was 3,590 feet, and kind of an estimated cost, and the cost of the interest rate based on 15 and 20 years. So it's quite costly. My suggestion, if we did proceed with it, was probably go through a bond issue, which I could handle that if you want to. But if you wanted us to pursue it a little bit further, I could probably try to get some kind of estimates from a contractor or something. But I don't know if we could, because you see the pay schedule there, just based on some of that interest rate is quite high, and I don't think we could actually have the wherewithal to cover that. to me, which is the worst. The whole road's bad, but there is sections that are much worse than others. I don't know how many linear feet that would be, but it would be cut down some, but,
Just to do some patchwork, you know?
yeah, just.
Sections.
But it-
Seal coated, right?
Pardon?
The seal coated?
Seal coated, but
Well, we thought about trying
I'm
to
just
get a
wondering.
cost
Yeah, I
on
mean,
that.
it's
but
like
we,
seal coating dirt.
We couldn't get a cost on that. We tried that last year, didn't we?
yeah, it's really, we're rolling too far gone
Yeah.
for just a seal coat, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it lasts a little while, but there's a lot of traffic on that road, as you
I
know.
think you're better off just take whatever money that would cost and put it in the piggy bank or do it away.
Now, we did make a long-range forecast with St. Clair County Road Commission on both Boardman and Bell River Road. But, and, you know, we got roughly 400,000 on the first section. We'll get another 400,000 grant on the second section, which would be Gold Street to.
Yeah,
Main
finish
Street.
off Boardman Road.
Yeah, that'll be 23, and then the other section on the going west, that was split up into two sections, one to Bell River and then Bell River to the city limits. But there's a 3-year lag or so between each one, and so Bell River was included, but that's way down the road. It probably be a gravel road before we get to that, the way things are going. But if you want us to look at it a little further, we can, but as you see, the cost and the amount of the monthly or yearly payment is extremely high, so, but we can go further if you like, so I can kind of.
It's one of those, I know that we've, taken a look at the cost, and maybe we look at, say, mechanic, and, based on the cost of per foot to do those roads, I think you can probably surmise you can be fairly close on what we're looking at, because we're not going into curb and gutter and.
Yeah, it'd basically be pulverizing and resurfacing.
Right,
That's
right,
strictly
right.
what we do, and, well, similar to the local streets that we
Right,
got,
right.
Maple Street, Mechanic, and Church Street. Yes.
Wasn't there a few more, like a little more challenges to Bell River Road because of the creek crossing, and just the fact that it's a hill?
Yeah, well, it's.
Rather than a city street, flat city street,
Yeah,
there's more to
well,
it than that.
well, it's a major street, so it has to be wider. It has to be 22 feet. I think,
22 feet.
22 feet. I think the other streets
So
are
what it
20
is
feet,
currently.
I think, 20 feet.
22 feet. The local streets, they've increased anything that we've done work on, they've increased them by 2 feet, probably
Yeah, we're
20 feet.
18 and now they're 20, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just heard that over the years that,
Yeah.
being that drain crosses there and then the hills, that
Well,
engineering costs and everything like that would just be higher than.
Well, yeah,
I feel crap.
and as you know, oil prices are high, asphalt's high, and so it won't get cheaper, it'll get more expensive. Your guys assessed that a little bit too, so, but.
What's the interest rate right now?
Pardon?
What would the interest rate be right now? Do you have any idea?
The interest rate?
Yeah.
Oh, these are just estimates, and I don't know. I still think a bond issue would be cheaper, but, I can.
I mean, when I saw $67,000 a year, I actually thought that was pretty reasonable,
Yeah.
considering we're getting, 47,000 right now from our local street.
Yeah, well, that's, we're kind of holding that off our local streets, but I know Bell River's bad. Especially as you go up the hills, man.
Yeah, well,
Right in front of my house is
Bell
bad.
River, I think, is by far our worst road.
It is, really, it is.
Well, I guess the reason why I brought that up was because I was thinking that if you're gonna get $45,000 a year for 20 years, you would subtract that from your initial loan.
Well, you could, that could be used for that, because it's going to be used for major and local. And I think that was 15 years, wasn't it?
Well, this is 20.
No, I'm talking about the.
Oh, the village, yeah, you're right.
And it had to
Yeah,
be
you're right.
renewal, and I
It had
think,
to be
what,
renewed.
5 years is already gone, probably? Something like
At
that.
least,
Yeah.
5 years.
Well, I can actually, I'd rather have some sort of a ballpark figure first. We've got a ballpark figure here, but I'd rather have a contractor do that. You and I did that, basically.
And the other thing is, too, you got to remember, we still got streets, obviously, that we got to purchase material to try to maintain the best we can. It should be nice to get Bell River out of the way, but,
How much gold patch do you think you put on Bell River in the past 10 years?
You come out to pave it a couple of times.
A lot.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to make light of it.
No,
A
it's-
lot.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, if you'd like us to pursue it further, we'll try to and see maybe.
I mean, if you want to crunch the numbers a little bit more, I don't know if we want to bring in a contractor.
Well,
and,
I'm good at crunching numbers.
And, you know, and I don't know if we can get a contractor to throw a number out for, you know, to pulverize and, you know, no bells and whistles, let's just make it a little flatter.
Yeah.
I'd like to know if somebody thinks it would actually be cheaper next year, which I can't believe that it would be cheaper in the next year, but perhaps the way things are right now, that it might be cheaper, I don't know. I mean, that's what I said, we talked about this years ago, it's only gonna be more expensive, so. I mean, 2013, we were gonna do all of Hammond Boardman for 800,000, and by the time we got the money, that it was doubled in 5
Yeah,
years.
and
or
by the
4
way,
years.
those figures I came up with the Jordan Road, we get, the grant's 80%, and we can come up with 20%. So, and of course, that when we were doing the curb and gutter, you were going down deep, I think, and that.
You're talking about Foreman, that's a big
Yeah,
expense.
and you
But it's gonna take
know,
them.
Main Street's up here, that comes up here, the deeper you gotta go down too, so, and the deeper you go, the more expensive it is. So, all right, we'll crunch some more numbers, we'll see what happens, okay?
All right, thanks, man.
Okay, and let's see, there's something else I can mark it down. I'll mention it next time. Oh, I know what it was. Yeah, I did talk to the builder on the Bell River houses on Bell River Flat Road, because I thought they'd be starting it by now. They were supposed to, once we got all the approvals through, go with 4 houses, then they said 2 houses. I haven't heard from them, so I contacted them like a couple of weeks ago. They didn't say they weren't going to start it, but I kind of feel that they're going to wait till next year. Lumber prices and building supplies have moderated some, but they still have, and they're hoping they'll go down more next year. They didn't tell me that, but I kind of read between the lines, so I kind of doubt they'll be starting that this year. That's all I have.
I have a question for Larry, actually.
Okay.
So there's been some discussion about the homeowners association over there.
Yeah.
Could you just kind of explain why that has to be?
Oh, okay. The way that, there's 2 ways to develop in a development. One is a subdivision where you plat it out. When you do that, it can take up to a couple of years to get everything in place. When you do a condo development, that can be done just relatively, it's speeded up. It can be done just, I'm not saying overnight, but it can be done with very limited time. So that development consists of a little over 15 acres. And the houses, that I think there's about 7 houses on Bell River probably, and 6 houses on Pratt
I
Road.
think it was 8 and 6.
Yeah, well, I think.
That one lot was
Yeah,
sold.
that one lot, you
Yeah.
see, the house was sold, and
Along with that.
the one with the barn on was sold.
So now you're 7 on there.
They're restoring that house now, I see they put a new roof on it
Yeah.
already. Anyway, in the back end, I think it was consistent, I rounded off maybe 8 to 9 acres. That was going to be developed into condos or apartments and that type of thing. But I think that's way down the road. And that then would also be a condo development there. But the houses themselves are also developed under the condo ordinance.
The site
So
condo.
that's kind of the difference between the two. And normally, it's owned, the land is all owned by the association, by the condo. But the individual houses now, they'll be owned by the owner, whoever buys them. They'll be owned by the owner. And then when the retention ponds goes in, that'll be supported by the condo association. But that will be put into the development.
So the houses won't be part of, have that association?
Well, they'll be part of it, but the amount that they'll be doing to support that.
Like for the
pond,
retention
it'll be
and-
very limited.
Okay.
Because really, their drainage is by the road itself.
Right.
So, since it backs up to their property line. That's kind of a quick road bill. Okay?
Thank you.
That's all.
Mr. Riley?
Oh, sure, thank you.
Bobby?
I'm good, thanks.
Mr. Stu?
Motion to adjourn.